Norwegian Cruise Line stock is upgraded to a buy. Carnival Cruise Lines makes this change for their employees today. And the real Love Boat? What? Join along with me today as I dive into these three topics that I've just kind of found very interesting. So a few days ago, some news dropped as I was watching the stocks. I want to say that it was Wednesday. The cruise stocks just got beat up. I mean, the whole stock market got beat up, but the cruise stocks were just taking a beating. And then as a turn of events, on Thursday, the Norwegian Cruise Line was upgraded by UBS to a buy. And they cited that Norwegian has strong bookings, that they've been able to maintain their pricing structure and basically command a great dollar amount for their cruises, and that I guess the combination of strong bookings and strong dollars upgraded them to a buy. They're able to manage the debt that they have. They're able to just kind of run their business. And I thought that was pretty interesting because I don't think that we're out of the woods yet for cruising. I think that we still have some challenges ahead that they're going to have to rise to. But it's good to see that at least the major banking institution and analysts are starting to think that they're coming to a point where they're going to be able to handle this. You know, we still got high oil prices. They're hovering around. We don't know what's going to happen with that. We've got some economic turmoil that's going on with inflation. The Federal Reserve kind of setting interest rates into different spots. And again, you guys remember, I'm a nerd, so I kind of follow all this stuff. And I just kind of thought back into my first cruise was in 2008. I went on a 7-night Liberty of the Seas sailing with two friends. I think the third friend sailed free, and the two of us paid $600 each, all in. Not including gratuities, because I don't think that we were adding prepaid gratuities back then. So the way that I look at that, and then cruises have crept up since then, and I just get concerned that when we're talking about the economy kind of churning a little bit, we'll put it that way right now, that we have to be concerned with what our cruise line's going to be able to fetch these same prices for long. And if you look at some of the deals that are popping up around there right now, especially coming up this month and early next month, man, you could snag a cruise for a really, really good deal. So it's just kind of an interesting take to me that they're being upgraded. And again, they're being upgraded because they're able to sell more berths, and they're able to handle their debt a little bit better. So there's some definite positives in there, but are we being too cautious in that? But that kind of leads me into the next story. Carnival Cruise Line today announced that they dropped their masks for their employees. And I was following along on a couple of cruise threads on Facebook this morning, and it seemed as if, people were pretty jazzed about that happening. The one thread I read, that as soon as they made the announcement, so many employees took their masks off, and there was just this feeling of joy, and I think there were some tears of joy. And this is what was shared in that Facebook thread. So again, I wasn't there, so I don't know. And I know that there's so many different mixed feelings on the masks, but I kind of want to relate it to the first story. Norwegian is upgraded to a buy. And a few weeks ago, Norwegian basically made the announcement that they're putting all of their COVID protocols behind them. No more testing, whether you're vaccinated or not vaccinated. No more masks required or even recommended. And they're just kind of pushing forward. They're trying to get through this, right? Trying to get to the other side so that they can run their business back to as normal as possible. And again, they've had increase of bookings. So whether you agree with the rules or not, the business model shows that this is moving them in the right direction. And UBS agreed with that because they're upgrading them to a buy for their stock. So I think what we're going to see, Carnival dropped it for their masks. I know a few weeks ago I heard Royal Caribbean was dropping it for their crew. And I think that they have, I overheard or saw something about one cruise ship maybe having a little outbreak, but come on, we're past that now. I think that this is going to happen. There are going to be little mini outbreaks. I did see some concern about people like, well, this is great that we're kind of moving by it, but are we going to move past the quarantine stuff, or what are we going to do with that? And there's some definite concerns out there about how it's going to move forward. But overall, everywhere you travel now, if you go on a land vacation, you go to Disney, you go anywhere, you're really moved past this. So I think in order for the cruise lines to capitalize and get their business back, they kind of have to adapt to that. So my prediction is that we're going to see Royal Caribbean follow with the no testing for anyone policy. You're going to see Carnival follow on that, and then they're kind of all just going to topple like they have over the last couple months. I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think it's that the cruise line stock, that one cruise line stock that made the assertion to kind of put that behind them and has seen these increased bookings? Do you think that because they were upgraded to the buy, do you think that the other cruise lines are going to follow suit and just kind of go down that path? Ultimately, they're a business, and ultimately the stronger bookings are telling them that that's what people want. And maybe it's not that it's the unvaccinated people that want to jump on the ship, but maybe it's just everybody just wants a normal vacation and doesn't want to jump through the hoops. And so anywhere they can go to get away from that requirement, that's where they're going to go. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your guys' perspective on this. I'd love to get some feedback on that. You know, I have a cruise coming up on December 30th, which you guys all know, it's my bucket list cruise. I'll link the video up here talking about how I made my choice. You know, I have to pre-test. I'm not vaccinated, so I'm going to have to pre-test on that one. And it's not a big deal if that's what I have to do to get on the ship. I'm looking forward to my cruise, but I can tell you that I would prefer to not have to do that. And especially with Royal Caribbean, it's a self-administered. It's not even a proctored test anymore. So it's kind of an honor system thing, in my opinion. You know, which is fine. Again, we're kind of moving into that realm. I never had to test for any of the other trips that I've taken over the last 2 years. But again, I'm going to cruise. I'm going to follow the rules. I want to go, and I'm excited to take that venture. But I am betting that by the time my cruise comes up, that will not be a requirement anymore. And for our third piece of news, but you know what? Quickly before I get there, let me invite you guys to subscribe to my channel. I'd love for you guys just to hit that subscribe button. It helps my channel grow. It helps get the word out there that you guys are enjoying my content. Hit that thumbs up button if you like this video, and just help me grow this channel into something that's a little bit bigger than the 25 subscribers that I have now. I'd love to push to 100 as quickly as possible. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys doing that. So for the third piece of news that I wanted to, or third topic that I wanted to discuss tonight, it's The Real Love Boat. I don't know how many of you guys are watching that show on CBS. I've been watching it on Paramount Plus, so I can't watch it till the next day. And I got to tell you, I was super excited about the show. I couldn't wait to watch it. I really love cruising. Obviously, if I'm making a channel about it and making videos about it as often as I am, I love cruising. And I started watching this, and you know, a couple weeks ago or a month ago, they announced that Matt Mitchum was going to be the cruise director. You know, they had a captain, they had a bartender, and I was like, oh, this should be pretty good. Like, I'm excited to see what's going to go on a cruise, what kind of activities they're going to show, what kind of parts of the ship they're going to do, and I was all in. I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this. So I watched the first episode, and I was kind of bummed. I got to tell you, I was really bummed. There was a part, and I had to laugh. There was a part of the show where Isaac, the old bartender from the Love Boat, and I don't know how many of you guys have watched the original Love Boat, but there was a part where Isaac was in the background, like shaking a drink, like, hey, he's making his drink, just like kind of on the old show where you would just see him off in the distance making that drink and keeping people entertained around him. And they kind of played off that a little bit. And then he did have a little cameo in there and talked about love, and it was kind of cool to see him on there. But it also kind of made me think, like, why couldn't he have been the bartender? He's an actor. He was the Love Boat. You know, how come they cast this other new person? They could have totally had him in there. I mean, he would have fit this bill perfectly. But that's an aside. As far as the show goes, I was expecting there to be, I mean, Princess Cruise Lines has really, really ramped this up. They ran a Love Boat special, which was a really good sale. They marketed this thing. They got a great cruise director on board to be the cruise director. And I was hyped. Then I watch it. You barely see Matt. He barely has anything to do with the show. He's not really leading any activities. He gives a little bit of commentary on who he thinks maybe should hook up, or I don't want to say hook up, but who should pair up and be together. The bartender, I want to believe her name is Ezra. She kind of does the same thing, like, oh, I noticed this little spark here with this and that. The captain, kind of the same thing. Hey, let's test this, pair these people up. Let's give them a little challenge with this. And it's more of a, I knew it was going to be a dating show, so I don't want to say that because I understood that's what I was getting into. But man, you don't even see cruising. The only thing is that it's on a cruise ship, but there's nothing cruising about it. They go to the captain's table, which it looks like it could be a set somewhere. It looks like a dining room. They sit by the pool and they have their cocktail parties and their sail away parties, which just look like it could be at a hotel in anywhere. When they were on Gibraltar, that was I think that was episode 2. They were doing their challenge. That was cool. See, that to me kind of felt like cruising, right? You go on an island, you get to have an adventure for the day. For them, it was paired up with kind of learning about their partners, and it was really cool to watch that. But there's just no cruising to it. There's no, hey, we're going to go to the Lido deck and we're going to sit by the pool and we're going to look at this activity. It just, and again, I don't know how much they could have put in there or how much they couldn't have put in there. But I always felt like even with the Love Boat, they made points to be sitting by the pool. They made points to do activities and show the horn and show sail away and just do these kind of things. And I really feel like in this show, the real Love Boat, they could have figured out a way to incorporate more cruising. They definitely could have incorporated more of Matt Mitchum to the show to really lead some of these activities. And I know Jerry O'Connell and Rebecca Romaine, they're the hosts, and even they're kind of, they're fake plastic trees. I don't know. I'm not really sold on them. He looks plastic. I used to love his demeanor and his attitude. It's so fake to me, and she's just so, it's weird. I feel like it had a great premise. I feel like it should have been a really good dating show. Like, we all know that love happens on a cruise ship. People meet and they mend, but it's so forced. It feels, and then I don't know how many of you guys have watched this one, but the second episode, so if you haven't, this is a huge spoiler, so turn off the show now and then click back on in a couple seconds. But the one couple that got captain's dinner was having, I'm not going to say names, so you guys, they really were meshing and it seemed pretty good. And then out of nowhere, the dude was not well and he had to leave. But that girl had thrown all her eggs in that basket. It's just weird. And then all of a sudden, some new guy walks in, and this girl had been talking about how this was the guy that left was the right one. He was Mr. One. And then all of a sudden, this new guy walks in, and she's like, oh, he's an Adonis. And oh my gosh, I could totally see myself with him. And it's like, that just, what? Like, you, like that? You forgot the guy you were with? So anyway, I wanted to know what your guys' thoughts were on the real Love Boat, because quite honestly, I'm a little baffled. I'm going to keep watching it to see if it gets better. Maybe they do incorporate more cruising. Maybe there's something coming up later where we get to see them be more involved with the ship or with the process of being on a cruise. But for now, it's just like a dating show on a ship. But the ship is not even really used well as a set. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comments down below, and we'll dive a little bit more into that. I'll probably cover it again in a couple weeks, and especially, well, if you guys like it or not. If you guys are not into it, I'm not going to cover it anymore, but I'm kind of curious about what you guys think about that. So leave a comment down in the section, leave a comment in the section below. Let me know what you think. And again, just take a quick minute, subscribe to my channel, help me grow out. If you please would, I would appreciate it. Just help me grow to that 100 subscribers. We'll get that first milestone out of the way, and then we'll go from there. And I appreciate it. Give me that thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. All right, guys. We'll see you out there, just out exploring.